Hi, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here from Antoinette Intuitive Tarot and Jewellery. So today I am, let me check, day 13 of the Ethany hashtag 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. And I am going to talk about, so this is about, sorry, I'm reading my notes, self-care rituals that I do for my own personal practice. So things I do for me and I guess with my cards and things. So I don't have everything to hand really, which is a bit rubbish of me. Anyway, doesn't matter. So what do I do when I get a new deck? So when I receive a new deck, I open, let's just find a deck, I take it outside because it's usually daylight. I take it outside, that's the first thing I do, and I show it to the sunshine. Okay, so I just take chunks of cards and I basically, with the intention that I am blessing you with the light of the sunshine, to cleanse and to energize you. I do all the backs and then I turn them around and then I'll do all the fronts with the same thing. You know, I bless you with the light of sunshine to cleanse and energize you, and whatever else I wish to say to the cards at that point in time. And I don't do it for long, you know, because I don't want the cards to get damaged in the sunshine, but I just make sure that each one, front and back, gets shown to the sunshine, sees, you know, the light of the sunshine. That's just what I do, that's my personal thing. And then what I do when I have a full moon coming, I put them on a windowsill indoors where they're going to be shone on by the light of the moon, because to me that's a yin and yang, a male and female, you know, night and dark type of energy, so it gets infused with both forms of energy before I usually start working with the cards. And I'll just stack that as a deck on the windowsill rather than, or sometimes I can fan them out, it depends. I've usually got more than one deck that I want to put on the windowsill at the time, and other things, crystals and stuff, and candles. So I'm limited to space when I do this. I might even leave them in the box, like so, just so the top's showing, so that the energy will infuse the whole thing. But I kind of do prefer to feel like the rays hit the sides of the cards and the cards get to absorb that sort of energy. And that is in many ways, that's my cleansing consecration ritual to them. And I, you know, put my intent, my energy into the cards while I'm outside doing them in the sunshine. That's my way of doing it. The book, the box, the cardboard all gets shown kind of same thing. So yeah, so that's what I would do when I get a new deck. When I'm working with the decks, I have a slightly different kind of, my personal ritual to me. Okay, so when I'm working with my decks, I have a deck for my week ahead use. I've started using a second deck to add to what I call my week ahead drawers. So I have another deck that I use to add or embellish the reading. And sometimes I even have a third deck, or it may be the second deck that I'm using, depending on what I'm doing, that I then use as my daily kind of tarot challenge deck. And that's for me getting to know the deck, getting to use it, work it in different ways and use different questions and see how it answers and responds. Those are my sort of rituals that I use for decks before I get into working with them fully for myself or for other people. Now, does any of that make sense? That's a very good question. Let me see. So my rotation, I'm just looking back down at my notes. My rotation, so yeah, 1 to 2 decks a month. So I do my morning draw, my monthly challenge, and my get to know. So I've shown this before. I have a key that I use, and in my, I think in my March videos, I've just done a journaling one, which will show you my current journaling process, and you'll get to see this in there. I'm using a Christmas present, which is the date book for 2021. This Christmas present, it's only monthly calendars, okay? So it looks like this. And these are my daily drawers that I stick in. And if more than one card comes out, and what I've been doing is, depending on what the card feels like and how it's answering my question on that day, is I've been putting some keywords down for how the card changes its meanings and what I'm, you know, kind of adding to my meanings as I go. And I also get to count, doing it this way, you know, what cards come out, how many of what suits are dominating my readings or my drawers. And I just find that a really interesting thing to do. And I can see, you know, what my stalker cards may be for the month as it's gone through. And that's just another thing that I'm doing for myself, my own personal kind of tarot practice. So we start with my getting to know my deck in my like kind of what I do as challenges. So this goes into my moon diary, and I go to Pinterest, and there's loads of tarot challenges by lots of lovely people who've shared questions, and they just challenge, you know, your way of asking, working with the cards, and it just gets me to use them in a very different manner. So I just go there. I don't go by month anymore. I just select a bunch of random questions from all the boards that are available for the various years and months that have been previous. I just take questions that I like and I write them in, as you can see, I write them in different colours into my diary. And then every morning I sit down, and this is my getting to know the deck. So this will be the new deck that I want to work with, that I use to do this with. And it's the first thing I do actually, is I do this question just to get me running. And on Tuesday the 26th of January, for instance, what is my inner desire? And 2 cards came out, and that was the 3 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. And basically it was telling me, you know, that I needed to start being creative, getting creative, having fun, the kind of stability that was around my life and finances, and just having fun and being social, you know, putting the fun element back into everything. That was my desire. Like, there wasn't enough fun in my life at that point, and it was just helping me to do that. And I can't remember off the top of my head which deck I was working with on this particular month. I think it might have been one of the Trionfis by Valenza, but I actually didn't write it down. But I think that might have been the deck that I was working with this one. So it's like a Marseille style deck or a pit deck. So there's less in the cards to read when it comes to the, you know, the minors. So hence the reason why my reading is a little bit different perhaps to those of you who would use the RWS system. But that would make sense as that answer. Then what I do in my journaling video, I've shown this. This is me getting ready to sort out my readings for tomorrow, for the week ahead coming. So I draw up my grid, and I draw up my oracle grid, and I decorate the page a little bit because I've been covering up my old diary. And what I will do is, in this section here, is I will put my 3 cards for the week ahead. This will be deck 1, and then I'll run a card for every day of the week down this side in my first deck. This will be a deck I'm used to and that I use a lot, and that's what I'll do here. Every day my daily draw card will go alongside it here. My deck 2 will go down the sides to add to it, and that's what I do. And that's the deck 2 that I record in my daily draw book, so I can see what's going on in there at a glance. And usually that will be, so my week ahead is what's going on for the week ahead for each day. I pull those cards out, and then I will ask on the day, you know, what else do I need to know about X card that I've already pulled, and the energy for today. And then that second card is the one that I work with for the day, and that's usually my kind of reminder for what I may or may not encounter. Those are my sort of rituals with my decks, and how I move them and how I change them and how I start to work with them. I'm not sure that made perfect sense to you, but I hope you were able to kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. And then the only other thing I do really is just so you know, so here we have the Sweet Twilight, which I'm working with at the moment. So there's your backs, some of the cards. Give you an idea. So what I've been doing with this deck is this one, I didn't feel the need to put back into its box on a daily basis, which I normally would do. I'd normally put them back into the box, but I didn't feel the need to do that. However, I did feel the need to give it a crystal. So this one has my Fire and Ice crystal, which has got beautiful rainbows in that you probably can't see. So this one sits in my cupboard. It's not out, it's in my cupboard behind the door, and it sits with the crystal. And that's how I've been using this one for the last month. With the little guidebook in case I want to check in, because this one's got some fantastic challenging meanings in it, rather than standard meanings. And then the other thing I do is, I was gifted this box for Christmas by my partner. It's beautiful and it does fit decks. So this one has a Valenza deck in it, and I have a bunch of crystals, and it's whatever I'm drawn to that I put in here. Now I had previously, believe it or not, had my fire and ice crystal in there, and quite simply it didn't close, but that's fine, and that's how I left it. That's how it was, and that was the last deck that I had in here that I worked with, had that one on there. This one has this beautiful piece of, I have no idea what I'm calling this, some form of no, I'm not even going to say it, I can't even remember. It's like an aqua praise type crystal, but in this one I have this deck ready to use for longer. So it's a Trionfi, it's paradoxical, I think it's the original paradoxical first one. So the star, just to show you a few, the ones, because they're just beautiful. This deck is, to me, the images are beautiful. Some people still find them a bit too weird. They really just don't like them as a chariot because they're not traditional enough. But they read well, you know. It depends how you read it. Depends your style, to be fair. But I don't have problems with these. I think they're just beautiful. I don't think I've done a walkthrough on this one yet. You can always check my walkthroughs. I think I have a Deviant Moon category, so go and find that and you'll be able to see if there's any of these in there. There's some. So that is what I do with my decks. That's my kind of personal-esque ritual. Only a thing to note with this is sometimes I will run them through the sage or the incense or the burner, whatever I've got going. Sometimes it is a piece of, you know, one piece of sage that I break off and I will smoke cleanse. Smoke cleansing is a massive tradition, has been here for the Celts, pagans, druids, previous people before them, you know, ancestors past and beyond. That's how they used to cleanse the fields, the stock, their, you know, lives. It's a massive thing, so smoke cleansing is really huge. It's something I do occasionally, but like I say, most of the time mine is with the energies of the sun and the moon. With that said, I think that is all of my rituals to go with how I personally work with and cleanse my decks. So those are my own personal rituals. Thank you for watching. If you have any rituals that you share, do you do any of what I do? Like, is it common for you? But if you have any others that you want to share, then stick them downstairs in comments. I'd love to see and hear from you. And maybe even you might teach me something that I can pick up and add to my own ritual. So much love and light. Take care. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.